Hey everybody, Eric here. Welcome to our channel. We keep these videos short and sweet, so make sure you hit that subscribe button to support us. Today we got some tips and tricks for you for getting started in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let's get to it. Alright, number one is when you're out in the world, you're gonna run into situations where someone is getting bullied, getting assaulted, getting picked on, and you'll be able to kind of overhear and see what's going on, and then you have the choice if you want to get involved. A lot of times it ends up, you fighting the bully or paying them off or something. But anyways, what's really important about this is when you've finished, the person will reward you and give you an option of what you want, and you can either take them as a scout or have them give you a world secret, is the two that I've seen. And in my opinion, at least early on, you always want to pick them as a scout because you're going to run into a lot of resources that you can't pick up by yourself. You need scouts to come and pick up, and it takes like 2 scouts until you get it unlocked to only take 1. But anyways, you're going to need a lot of scouts, and you can use them to do other things and pick up resources. But that's the main thing I send them on. And then once you use them for that season, you have to wait for another season to arrive to use them again. So I feel like I am constantly out of scouts. So that is tip number 1. Scouts are very valuable. All right, the next tip is around resources. You're going to need a lot of these, especially early on when you're building out your hideouts. And running through the world, you will find in places like this that kind of look like this on the world that isn't actually on the map, but it's heavily protected by NPCs that roam, and there's a couple bigger guys you have to fight, but there's a ton of resources spread out throughout this tiny little camp. And so if you look on the map here, you can see this is where this one is, and there's no markings for it. But I think it's going to be stationary, so it should be on everybody's map. So you'll see right there's the location. I definitely recommend you go there. It's really close to the starting area, and it has a lot of good resources you can use to build those first couple of buildings to get yourself going along the way. All right, next tip is around these little things you'll find in the world where you can make an offering. And then there's these little pedestals where you can pray. You want to do both these. You'll get XP and you get buffs, which just enhance your character. And they are time sensitive. And as far as I can tell, at least early on, you can only have 1 prayer buff on you at a time. Next tip is around painting. You learned this very early on in the campaign, and then anytime you see the little mark at the top of your radar that looks like a paintbrush on a piece of white paper, you know that there's something nearby that you can observe. I definitely recommend you do it. As you can see there, this one is near Kanto Castle, and you can't paint in the water, so I had to move over to the shore to actually do this painting. But once you do it, you get a nice little cutscene of the animal, and then of you finishing the drawing, and then you get a sweet reward. Most of the ones I've got have all been some kind of decorative item for your hideout, and then you also get a nice chunk of XP. So these are well worth the effort to take time. Not only do you get some good scenery, but you also get some nice rewards.
Perfect.
Alright, next tip is in the world. If you see on your radar the little ... screen or above the NPC's head, that just means they have a quest or a request of you to do something. So if you interact with them, you'll get a little bit of a short story normally, and then whatever he needs you to do or she needs you to do. This guy had lost the vessel that was carrying his dad's ashes, and he just is broke and doesn't have the money to buy a new one, so you have the option to give him the money to do it. And so you can do that to kind of help out in the world, and I'm sure it plays into some kind of quest later on. And this last tip is kind of a simple one, but I know some people have missed it. But when you are following an NPC and they're telling you a story, which happens a lot in this game, you can, if you're looking at them, you can tell it to auto-follow them. And so I love this because this is a gripe I have in a lot of games. When you're trying to follow an NPC and your speeds aren't the same, you're running, they're walking, and you're just running into people. You're not really listening to the story. You're trying to make sure you don't lose the NPC. Well, thankfully this game allows you to just auto-follow so you can actually listen to the story and enjoy the scenery. Alright everybody, that wraps up my tips and tricks for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Hopefully you enjoyed. Have yourself a great day.